Blessings. It is I, Hathor.
Is there a way to understand ego in a positive way?
Yes. Yes, this is a very good question. Your ego has been called many different names and will still be called in the future different names yet. However, we will say your ego is a part of you. If you did not have this ego, it's literally the connector. You would not be able to experience life fully in the physical. Now, there are beings, may call them ascended masters or higher guides or angels or guardian angels, that appear physical and do not have ego in the way humanity does or understands it. However, they cannot live full physical lives here the way you do. So it is all dependent. So if you could feel that you are grateful for being here, if you appreciate your physical existence at this point, you must understand that it is in thanks and in due to the ego. It is then very contradicting to be against or dislike the mechanism that allows you to survive in this physical form. So the ego is your friend. However, it is a friend that has been taken on the task of survival. As a result, it may lack other awarenesses that are not survival based. So you must know when to correct it, when to embrace its opinions, because that is what they are, and when to embrace it as it is crying and kicking because it thinks your survival is in danger. So you must have the higher perspective to know whether your survival is in danger. However, being against or not appreciating the mechanism that even makes it possible is just not understanding this dynamic in place. Now, again, we will open for any clarifications or follow-up, as this is a very important and good topic to explore. And there are many facets of it that we could express. However, we have to take one facet at a time for the sake of linear conversation.
Yes, I feel very confused or lost about how to even notice my ego. I don't even know when it's around or what it's doing. And so when I hear people talk about it, it's like something new that I remember hearing about back in the early 70s and never thought about it again. So I don't know. They usually have a battle going on with the ego.
Yes, yes. Because the ego is in charge of survival, it often carries conversations about survival, conversations about fear, conversations about, wait, am I being inferior? So these types of conversations. So imagine your ego as we're searching for the term, as survivalist, as something with doomsday survivalist. Is this a term? Imagine your ego as one of those persons with a belt of all weapons attached and ready to go. And at any slightest sign of danger, the ego will drop this weapon and fire without asking questions. Because its job is survival and protection. Now, people have several issues with the ego, of course. One problem that is of a lower level of understanding is to believe that this ego, this part of you, is the whole of you, and every conversation that it's having is you, your identity, and means things about you as a whole. This is the lowest level of understanding, which causes issues. Now, the one that you are referring to that has becoming more and more popular is that the ego, such as the shadow self, notice the name shadow, was meant to be unknown. However, humanity take it as a negative thing. So the shadow self, the ego, then becomes this bad part of humans, right? Because it's inferior and it's aggressive and it's defensive and all those things. This is one layer of understanding that is better than, it's higher than thinking the whole of you is this ego in this conversation. However, it is still not an integrated understanding, as it sees this ego as a part of you that is to be diminished, crushed, and it is not so. Does this make it a little less confusing?
Yes, thank you very much.
And the layer that we are talking about is a higher integrated perspective, when the ego is merely the bridge, the pathway to your physical existence. And just as your physical existence is not the whole of your being, the ego is not the whole of your mental makeup or psychological makeup. It is just one part that is in charge with a very important task of keeping you alive in the physical. You should not resent it for doing so. And if you do resent it, please have the awareness that this is one emotion out of many that exist, one attitude out of many that exist, just like the ego is one portion of you out of many, many more.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.